Jim Jones and his podcast co-hosts publicly questioned 50 Cent's documentary work. What happened next wasn't music. It wasn't a typical rap back and forth. It turned into paperwork, property control, surveillance footage, and a very public lockout.
Right now, he owes, I'm going to say in a short way, at least 80,000, if not 180,000.
This wasn't a diss track. It was a business escalation. What followed involved a landlord partnership, eviction filings, recorded phone calls, and security footage that left Jim Jones standing outside the very studio he had been recording in. Here's how criticism aimed at G-Unit reportedly triggered a financial and strategic response. On February 19, 2026, security footage surfaced online. The video showed Jim Jones forcing entry into his podcast studio after the electricity had reportedly been cut and the locks changed. The footage was shared by 50 Cent himself, who stated that he had partnered with the building's landlord and claimed an ownership stake in the property. Over the following days, multiple individuals connected to 50, including business associates and the landlord, began posting documents and recorded conversations related to the dispute. Even Cameron, Jones's former Dipset collaborator, entered the online discussion. Eviction notices circulated, audio clips were released. The narrative shifted quickly. Importantly, this situation did not involve physical confrontation. It unfolded through contracts, finances, and public exposure. And it traces back 2 months earlier. In December 2025, Jim Jones appeared on the podcast Let's Rap About It alongside Mino Fabulous and Dave East. The topic moved toward documentaries, specifically whether it's ethical to produce one about someone without their direct approval. Dave East posed the question. The room responded firmly.
Is it acceptable for someone to create a documentary about you without your approval? How would you feel if it happened to you?
The panel suggested that releasing a documentary without consent could feel exploitative. Jim Jones described the idea as unnecessary and potentially petty. Mino compared it to releasing personal material without permission. They discussed the broader concern of presenting unflattering portrayals without involving the subject.
It's like
Definitely not acceptable. It's facetious and petty.
right. It's like somebody putting out your tape.
No names were explicitly mentioned at first, but the timing drew attention. Around that same period, 50 Cent had released Sean Combs' The Reckoning on Netflix, a series examining allegations and controversies surrounding Sean Diddy Combs. Listeners connected the dots. The Let's Rap About It hosts framed their concerns around motive and responsibility, questioning whether documentaries can cross the line from journalism into reputation damage. The tone grew more pointed.
Without your permission.
And you're not an actual porno star.
And they do it.
The lighting wasn't good or nothing.
The group emphasized that exposure of that kind can permanently impact someone's public image. Jones argued that a documentary should uplift or honor its subject, not dismantle them.
Trying to make you just look bad.
What?
Oh, they caught me on a bad day?
Right.
I wasn't even on my This they caught a weak one.
See that the lighting is dark?
Damn.
You see that the lighting is dark?
Got me looking
You
small
still
out
put
here.
this on the internet?
Word up.
The message was clear. Storytelling carries responsibility.
You wanted to be a dope documentary.
It gotta be dope.
Showing who you are, what you've done,
Put out no bullshit
everything you've
on it.
accomplished. Like, yeah, documentary is a big thing. Like, you don't want nobody doing a documentary about some like trying to just make your whole character look weak. Like, that's petty behavior.
Now,
Later, Mino clarified on Instagram that the conversation was general commentary, not a direct attack on 50 Cent. But by then, the clip had circulated widely, and 50 responded. 50 Cent reposted podcast clips and publicly labeled the crew as squatters. He alleged substantial unpaid rent tied to the studio space, referencing six-figure amounts. He hinted at buying the property outright. The exchange escalated online. Mino responded with posts of his own, signaling he was ready for tension. On Christmas Day 2025, the hosts released a freestyle addressing 50 over one of his instrumentals. That amplified the spotlight. But 50's next move shifted the battlefield. Rather than keeping it strictly on social media, 50 contacted the landlord of the building where the podcast was recorded. He later shared audio of that conversation publicly. The landlord, identified as Sam, described what he characterized as a strained financial relationship with Jones.
Trying to build it, but he won't sign the lease. He's like, I don't like these terms. I want like 6 months of build out and ridiculous bullshit.
Sam suggested lease terms had not been finalized despite negotiations and investments made into the space.
We also have a partnership agreement where half of what he's building now, his media, belongs to us. But he won't tell us how much he's making and doing all these things. So half of the content he's creating, if you want to buy that too, I'll sell you half the company.
He also claimed there was a partnership component tied to the podcast's media output, alleging that a percentage stake belonged to the building owner under their arrangement. It's important to note, these were claims presented by the landlord in the recording. Full contract details were not independently verified in court at that time. Sam indicated he was open to selling his interest, including potentially to 50 Cent. Then came the numbers.
He's like insane. To me, it's worth very little to nothing. But if it works out for you, I just throw that in as a sweetener. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is he signed a lease with me. Right now he owes, I'm going to say in a short way, at least 80,000, if not 180,000.
Sam estimated unpaid amounts between $80,000 and $180,000. Other circulating reports mention figures as high as $250,000. Exact totals were not officially confirmed, but the financial picture presented publicly was damaging. 50 shared the call widely, framing the situation as a contradiction, suggesting that while he was being criticized for documentary ethics, the critics were allegedly behind on their own obligations. Reports soon circulated that 50 had either partnered with or acquired an ownership stake in the building. 50 posted statements implying direct control. Whether fully finalized or strategic messaging, the perception stuck. And then came the footage. 50 posted security camera clips from inside the building, identified as IFC Film Studios. The hallway appeared dark, the doors were locked, the power was reportedly disconnected. Jim Jones was seen attempting entry and eventually forcing access through one of the doors. The footage was time-stamped and clear.
He cut the lights off. You're not supposed to. You heard Jim? Huh? He cut the lights off.
50 captioned it with sarcasm, referencing the podcast name directly. He also shared eviction paperwork addressed to Joseph Jones and IFC Management, LLC. The document cited a 15-day default notice followed by a 5-day termination notice. By February 19th, the lease was described as terminated. The paperwork stated personal belongings could be retrieved through coordination with the landlord. Reaction online was immediate. Complex described the escalation as next level. Comment sections were divided, some calling it strategic genius, others questioning the ethics of sharing surveillance footage. Many asked how 50 obtained access to the building's security system. Some speculated that a business partnership provided that access, though no detailed clarification was publicly released. The YouTube platform All Urban Central analyzed the situation as a collision of past tensions, financial disputes, and digital age spectacle. This was no longer about documentaries. It became a case study in how criticism, business contracts, and social media visibility can intersect and escalate. No fists, no studio diss records, just paperwork, leverage, and timing. And in modern hip-hop culture, that can be just as impactful.
Yo, nah, this is getting disrespectful and hilarious at the same time. I just want to know, how did 50 Cent get access to the camera? Because it's giving Big Brother.
The contrast between the seriousness of a possible eviction and the almost surreal way it unfolded online is what made the moment so powerful. 50 Cent managed to turn what appeared to be a landlord-tenant dispute into viral content, and in many people's eyes, he controlled the narrative. He followed up by publicly setting a deadline, saying payment needed to be handled by Monday or the situation could escalate. More clips were shared, more people were tagged, the pressure didn't stop. For 50 Cent, public embarrassment has often been less of a single moment and more of a drawn-out strategy, one that keeps attention locked in and forces the other side to respond or remain silent. Online commentators quickly began analyzing every second of the footage. Some joked directly at Jones's expense. One comment read, "From Dipset to set." Another referred to the crew as lobby boys. Others focused on the struggle with the door, writing things like, "Super thug grandpa doesn't even know how to kick a door." But some of the sharper commentary connected the situation to a larger conversation about wealth and image in hip-hop, suggesting that not every public persona reflects financial reality. The footage didn't just spark jokes, it questioned an image Jim Jones had built over decades. Jim Jones did not respond with a formal statement or a diss record. Instead, he posted a short Instagram story showing himself practicing martial arts and chopping wood with a Bruce Lee poster behind him. The caption read, "Kung Fu Jim, no locked doors at all." It was a response that appeared designed to deflect rather than directly confront the claims, and commentary channels picked up on it immediately.
Pulled up wearing what looks like the same outfit from the viral clip that started showing off martial art moves with Bruce Leroy in the back, talking about show enough.
Analysis from All Urban Central suggested that Jones avoided falling into 50's trap by not reacting emotionally and instead shifting the energy. The takeaway was simple. Sometimes the worst move against someone known for trolling is to show that it affected you. The host expanded on why this situation felt heavier than a typical online exchange, tying it to years of unresolved tension between the two artists. If someone responds calmly and turns the moment into content of their own, the audience begins debating who actually won. That may have been Jones' strategy, transform criticism into promotion. Because historically, once 50 Cent gets a visible emotional reaction, he tends to control the narrative. That pattern goes back decades. The rivalry between 50 Cent and Jim Jones can be traced to the mid-2000s, when G-Unit and Dipset were two of New York's most influential rap collectives. The tension wasn't always direct. It existed beneath overlapping alliances, industry politics, and crew loyalty. But in 2007, things escalated. That year, 50 publicly criticized Cock Records, which was distributing Jim Jones' music at the time, calling it ineffective for major artists. During a Hot 97 interview, Cameron called in to defend the label, sparking friction between him and 50. Meanwhile, Dipset itself was reportedly dealing with internal tension. In September 2007, Jim Jones and Jules Santana performed "We Fly High" at a G-Unit event. For some observers, that appearance symbolized deeper division within Dipset. Years later, 50 explained that he understood Jones was entering his first major commercial moment with Ballin' and recognized how significant that was for someone who had long been part of a group dynamic.
He was not a rapper then.
Right.
He was your man, like on the side, just he was not a rapper at all.
Right.
So when Ballin' took place, and I'm looking and I'm going, oh, he having a moment. That's the Lloyd Banks. It's Lloyd Banks thing. He wanted that.
50 later compared that hunger for solo recognition to how other artists and major crews sometimes feel when watching teammates shine. According to 50's own recounting, he understood Jones wanted individual validation, and he leaned into that.
He was watching them be that, like Mace be that, and Cam be that, and looked at, and it was finally. He had one. I just looked and I knew I just took the shot, Murder, to see, because I wasn't sure he was gonna go for it. Mm-hmm. But I was like, we like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam.
The now famous line, "We like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam," became symbolic. It wasn't necessarily praise. Many saw it as a strategic wedge. It simultaneously validated Jones while indirectly challenging Cameron's leadership.
You gotta watch to see how he responds. And then when you see, he like, oh, he really like that. Give me this, give me Jimmy.
50. Whether intentional or opportunistic, that 2007 moment shaped the tone of their interactions for years. What followed was a cycle of provocation and response that has resurfaced multiple times over nearly 2 decades. The recent studio situation doesn't exist in isolation. It fits into a broader pattern 50 Cent has used since the early 2000s, turning conflict into engagement. One of the earliest examples was his feud with Ja Rule and Murder Inc., following a 2000 shooting that 50 has publicly connected to individuals affiliated with that camp, though legal responsibility was never formally proven in court. Musically, records like Wanksta and Back Down played a role in shifting industry momentum in 50's favor. That feud included public confrontations, industry tension, and heavy mixtape circulation that ultimately drew attention from Eminem and Dr. Dre. The takeaway for 50 seemed clear: controversy, when controlled, can amplify visibility. Over the years, similar patterns appeared in disputes involving Rick Ross, Floyd Mayweather, and the legal case with Tierra Mari. The structure often looked similar: provoke, respond publicly, document everything, and allow the internet to amplify it. Fans on X have labeled him one of the most effective online trolls in hip-hop. Billboard has written about his ability to narrate conflicts from a position that keeps him visible without appearing directly rattled. The Jim Jones situation reflects a modernized version of that strategy. Instead of diss tracks, legal documents were posted. Instead of studio bars, surveillance clips surfaced. Lease discussions, timestamps, and property ownership became part of the narrative. According to industry data, 50 Cent has sold over 30 million records worldwide and earned multiple Billboard Hot 100 #1 singles. Beyond music, he built ventures including G-Unit Film and Television and the Power franchise, along with business deals like his vitamin water investment, which was widely reported to have generated significant profit. Estimates of his net worth vary widely by source, ranging between approximately $40 million and $100 million in recent years. Jim Jones experienced major commercial success with We Fly High in the mid-2000s and has released multiple studio albums since. Public net worth estimates for Jones vary, often reported between several $100,000 to a few $1 million, though exact figures are unverified and speculative, as with most celebrity financial reporting. The financial contrast became central to the narrative. When one artist is positioned as property owner and the other is addressing rent disputes publicly, the optics alone influence perception. Despite the viral footage, Jones did not retreat. He posted a walkthrough of the studio space, showing ongoing construction and describing it as a developing multi-purpose creative facility.
Since I'm starting the year off at the top of your Explorer, are you not entertained?
His opening remarks acknowledged the attention while reframing it as publicity.
Oh, everybody want to put my business in the street. I will talk to you about my business. Right now, I am in the second phase of construction. In my mind, I was thinking of building like a little mart, but we'll see how that goes. Hold up, look. Show you what we'll be doing. I'm building a multi-purpose content creation facility for media, fashion, music, and broadcast.
Jones walked viewers through unfinished rooms, pointing out planned boutiques, barbershop areas, and recording studios. He presented the visible construction as progress rather than failure. He highlighted young creators still working inside the building, suggesting the vision was bigger than any single dispute. He also addressed the cold temperatures in the space, something 50 and Cameron had joked about previously. Rather than deny it, Jones acknowledged it directly, which suggested a different strategy: transparency over denial.
What I'm trying to say is, I've been happy to be able to invest in myself and something that I know is going to help a lot of other people. I'm not building this facility for myself.
Jones framed the project as community-driven, an investment in himself and in upcoming creators who may lack resources. Whether that reframing is enough remains unclear. Some outlets have reported that Jones wired a substantial payment, reportedly over $200,000, to address outstanding issues, though official documentation has not been publicly confirmed. Despite that, 50 Cent has continued posting, suggesting that the online narrative itself has taken on a life beyond the original dispute. Cameron also commented publicly during this period, joking about heating costs and offering financial help via Zelle. Jones responded with criticism of Cam, adding another layer to the long-running Dipset tension. As of February 21, 2026, no confirmed legal actions beyond public statements have been finalized. The situation remains largely social media-driven. So the question remains, did 50 Cent successfully expose Jim Jones? Or did Jim Jones turn the trolling into promotional momentum? In a rivalry that has lasted nearly 20 years, the answer may depend on perspective. But one detail is undeniable. Only one of them owns the building.